Let's do another quick demo using Cryostat 4.0. This is again a pre-release but very close to finalized version. We're going to go ahead and create an application here by importing it from a Git repository. In this case, we're going to be using this repository as library of test applications, sample applications that we use while we're developing Cryostat as a project. In particular, this is going to be a non-Java application. It's actually going to be based on Clojure, which is a different JVM language, and it uses this framework called Kit. And in particular, actually, this is an example based on the Kit project's guestbook sample application. I've basically taken the sources for that directly as they are. I've written a different sort of customized Docker file. And that's about it. Otherwise, it's pretty much all just a stock sample application. So I think this is pretty much all we need to go get started with this thing and create it. And here, OpenShift should run the build for us. I'm going to pause the recording and just resume it once the build completes. Actually, I'll resume here and just show the end of the build running. So here it's downloading some things, Maven dependencies and whatnot. But in just a moment we should see actually it's going to be doing a build. There we go, compiling Clojure. So there we go, that's kind of proof, I guess, that this is really a Clojure application. But feel free to check out that Git repository and that subdirectory that I showed before if you would like to prove for yourself that this really is not a Java application. It is running on an OpenJDK JVM, but the actual source code language is not Java. Okay, we're back. So the build completed just fine, and the deployment tried again to restart, and it did. So the pod has come up. If we just click on this route URL, we'll see what this is. So this is the guestbook test application, like I was saying. So my name is Andrew, and the message will be hello demo. And we'll leave that comment in the guestbook. So we can see it's a functioning application. What we're going to do next is, much like the previous demo, just to prove the point, I'm going to go ahead, edit the deployment, go here, YAML view, spec template metadata labels, and we're going to instrument this with Cryostat. So I have, just like before, a Cryostat instance in a namespace, a project called Cryostat, and the name of the instance itself is going to be Cryostat sample. I've already gone ahead and set that up before adding this Clojure Kit application to my project. So there we go. We just saw it quickly get patched and restart itself. And if we now hop over to our administrator perspective, go back to our Cryostat view, topology, and choose our Cryostat sample instance, we can see, there it is. And you can see the Clojure Kit application, just like we would expect. One more quick thing I want to show is let's go ahead and jump back to our Clojure application, and I'm going to grab a piece of environment variable configuration off screen here in just a second and show one more option we have. So just hang on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and again spec template. This time it's spec containers, and I'm adding an environment variable. So we add an end section, and I paste it, and I fix some formatting. Should be something like this. And so what this is going to do is add an environment variable called Java ops append, and we're going to be basically turning on JMX on port 8766. And that is pretty much it. We are also just going to add an extra port definition here with the same number, 8766. And let's go ahead and save that. And that should cause this thing to roll out again, this time with that Java ops append. So let's check out and make sure that we can see that in our pod logs. Top here, so we see exec Java, and on the right side we can see our JMX configuration is there. Perfect. Let's go back to the project. The service that was created by the console when I created the application, we're also going to go ahead, edit this service, and I want to add another port. So this, if you're familiar with Cryostat's typical mode of operation, is how Cryostat itself will normally do detection or discovery of your applications. So if you're not using the agent, this is more what it looks like. If you create a service pointing at your application's JMX port, and then either use the special port number 9091, or more flexibly, if you name your port like this, JFR JMX, then Cryostat will be able to see that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and if we go back again into our Cryostat view, just like this, what we see is that Cryostat can now see that as well. It knows that they're related. It's a little confused about the relationship here, I guess. The way to render it, there it is. So we can see that it knows they're related because it has the JVM ID that it calculates. This is basically a hash of a few different attributes of the JVM, and it sees them in both places. What we can notice is now actually this target is showing up 3 different ways. So the first way is here in this big group. This is using the service that I just defined, or really the port that I added to the existing service. So here we can see it's discovered by Kubernetes API. We can tell which namespace it's in, the deployment that it belongs to, all the way down to the individual name of that one pod. On the other side, this is the discovery done by the Cryostat agent. This one with the Cryostat icon is for the Cryostat agent HTTPS connection. But because the agent can recognize that the JVM it's attached to has JMX also enabled, we see it kind of doing, we call it dual registration. So dual registration means that we're always going to have the agent showing up as HTTP connection, but if it detects that JMX is also enabled, it'll give you that option as well. Normally you shouldn't need this. We've designed everything so that whatever Cryostat features you would like to use, they should be equally supported, whether you're using JMX or HTTP. But just in case, if anything is not working the way you'd expect, this is here as sort of an extra additional fallback option. This obviously works not just with Clojure. This works on any JVM, OpenJDK JVM that has JMX and that has JFR. So this would work with whatever application you have otherwise as well. And in particular, the agent doesn't work with native builds. So if you're doing like Quarkus native, agents in general are not supported there. But Quarkus native in particular, or like GraalVM as a whole, does actually have support in the newer versions for both JMX and JFR. So the trick that I did here with adding a port to my service and exposing JMX and all that stuff, if you build your native application the right way, you can actually do this exact same thing and have pretty much full functionality that way too. In that case, sorry, it would actually show up this way if you were doing a native application. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.